Okay, I'm gonna show you where I jack this from. There's a, see that round? It's where the front frame attaches to the body. That's where I put the jack. So yeah, you've got to see, if you try to jack it here somewhere, this is what's gonna happen. Looks like somebody's already tried to jack it up from the rocker panel. The rocker panel is not designed on this vehicle to hold the weight for some reason. I don't know, but so I didn't try it there. So I'm going up under the frame. So let's see if we can do this. Sorry for the noise. So I'll put you right here. If you have a jack like this, it fits perfect right there. Fits pretty well right down in there. Proper jack placement is key for ease and safety. So I'll be back to show you where I put the jack stand, which you will definitely need. Wouldn't recommend doing any automotive work without a jack stand if you have the car elevated. Okay, here we are. I've got the jack stand up under the frame here. And it's also being supported by the jack. So there's 2 points. The jack's not holding the weight 100%, and neither is the jack stand. And one other thing that is a necessity is a wheel chock. I don't care if you've got an automatic, put it in park, whatever. And with the parking brake set, you don't want to trust all that. Something could happen, I don't know, it could roll or anything could happen and it could shift backwards and will could make for a terrible day. So jack in the proper place where it won't slide. Your jack stand in a secure place where it helps support the weight, and your wheel chock back there to prevent it from rolling backwards. That's if you're on a, if it's on a slope where it rolls backwards. I know this is probably preaching to the choir, but there's some people out there that probably won't know, and this is for them. If it's on a hill or a slope where it can roll backwards, you put it behind the tire. If it's on a hill where slightly hill where it can roll forward, then you put it in front of the tire. So I know that sounds elementary, but I don't want anybody being on a forward facing downward slope, put it behind the tire, roll the vehicle, fall off the jack because they put it behind the tire. You know, so, but if you're in doubt, just put a chock on both sides of the tire. It don't matter, you can't be too safe. Okay, like I said, I've got it jacked up here. Got it there, and just give your vehicle a little push. As you can hear, there's no movement. It'll sway a little bit, but if it goes to rocking, or if the jack stand legs like rock any, left to right, forward to back, whatever, you gotta do something, because you can't know it, because you're gonna be on these bolts here, and they've got a little torque. Some of them are, depends on when they were, you know, how long they've been there, if they're seized up or hard to get off or not. But you're going to be putting some sort of force on your tools to break that these bolts and nuts loose. So, well, and you don't want to have, you know, have the car fall down on your foot or whatnot, on your body. You know, you get the drift. But yeah, make sure your vehicle is sturdy. So what I'm gonna do, with further ado, we're gonna be taking this bolt off. This is the caliper bracket. We're gonna be taking this bolt off, which is the bottom caliper bracket. What that's going to do, and I'll repeat this later on in the video as well, what it's going to do is allow you to take the rotor, the caliper bracket, and the caliper off all in one unit. Prevent, you know, avoiding having to take the caliper loose, bleed the brake shoes and the caliper back so you can slide it off the rotor, you know, and then there's just extra stuff. You don't have to do all that. So what I'm going to try to do is get a video for you of me actually doing this. And what we have here, well, the caliper bracket bolts are a 15, which I'll also be repeating. That's a 15 socket. And the axle nut is a 34 millimeter, which you can pay a deposit at your local parts store and pay like $70 deposit. When you bring it back, they'll credit it back to you. However, if you've got a credit card or cash, use cash or a credit card, because if you're in a bind, a pinch, and you really don't have the $70 to be held up in your checking account, then what's going to happen is you're going to put that $70 down. It's going to be like, could be up 3 business days before you get your money credited back to your account. So 3 days you're going to be out of that $70. So credit card or cash. Credit card, it don't matter. Cash, they'll give you cash back. So anyhow, let's try to get this going. Let's see here. I don't know if I can do this, but we're gonna try. I'll tell you what, this one here. Alright, wish me luck. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I don't have any other way to do it. So, we got the one on the top, and you're going to see how much pressure that I'm going to have to put on this. And break this loose. Yeah, that's pretty tight. That was more than 100 foot-pounds, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna just loosen the top up. I'll just loosen up. I can loosen the top up to where I can get it by hand. There's the top bolt. Put that to the side. Don't lose it. Don't throw it in the grass or anything like that. And this one here. Yeah, that one's on there pretty good. Yeah. And make sure you brace yourself if you're doing this and you got your body weight plus some going down on a ratchet. Make sure you have your free arm bracing yourself, because if you don't, you'll come crashing down when that bolt breaks loose. And it could end up with just some scrapes, or it could end up with stitches in your forehead, busted knees, whatever, you know. But anyhow, you get the idea on that. So you see it fall, you see it break loose, you just saved yourself some time. And you can, since I'm videoing it, I have to use my knee to kind of take the weight off the assembly here. The brake rotor assembly, that is. There you go. There's your second bolt. I've got mine in a safe place right there. The snug one. Okay. Well, then what you're going to want to do, get your tools out of the way. And put you something right here. I'm sorry this camera's so shaky, but I can't afford a professional videographer. There you go. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to set this right here. And there you go. Flip it around. Just be careful with these rubber brake lines. We can set that there for now. Just for a brake, because we're gonna have to get in. We're gonna have to get in behind the front of this right here, and I'm gonna have to move it to get access to it, but I'll do that last. And I'm gonna have to get that one too. So what's gonna happen here, I'm gonna have to move these bricks somewhere out of the way to where this will free up my room. But hold on, we'll get that straight. All right, I'm back. The brake nut, as you'll see later on, I've done this in reverse order as far as my video. because I wasn't going to do a video at first, and I was like, you know what, this is a pretty straightforward, simple project for somebody who is slightly mechanically inclined. So yeah, I'll do so that's why it's darker now than it was when I first started, or later on in the video. But anyhow, the brake method doesn't work over here on this side, and as you'll see later on in the video, it will work on the driver's side, because everything's forward, or it's flipped. So this right here, you know, it works on the driver's side. It just don't give you enough room on the passenger side. But anyhow, here's where I put it. I kind of wedge it up here, being careful not to damage anything. No brackets. This still has, it still has a little slack. It's not terribly tight where it rip something. So I just set it on that tie rod, wedged it up here, and leaned it against the body here, the wheel well. But alright, we go in with this bolt, which is back here. This bolt, which is easy, it's right there. And this bolt, which is also fairly easy. The only one that seems like it's going to be difficult is this one, but it's really not. See, it's right there. And then you got that one. It's right beside the lower caliper bracket mounting hole there. And the other one's on the opposite side. So that's going to be a 13 millimeter. Sorry for the bouncy. I hope y'all aren't. I hope nobody's watching this with a hangover or anything like that. Which these are fairly see how I come in there like that. Get that bolt. Front side. But anyhow, we'll be back. I'll be back and show y'all all this is straightforward. Unscrew the bolts. 3 bolts, 13 millimeter. Okay, I loosened those 3 bearing hub bearing bolts. I will loosen 2 of them up, and the third one I hadn't touched. What I'm going to do is, if you take them all the way out, when you loosen this bolt up here, it's just going to fall, and you won't be able to, you'll have to hold this up, tap this out while you're holding it and flopping. If you loosen this up and take your preferably like a 2-pound sledgehammer or whatnot, then you'll be able to, there it is. See that don't feel like the torque on this bolt's axle nut, it specifies as 177 foot-pounds, which that right there I just did. I weigh 128 pounds with fully closed, so I'm about 125, and I did that with one little skinny arm. So I don't believe that was 177 foot-pounds, or either I ate some pretty good food today or something. But anyhow, all right. Now you see how the CV axle splines go up in here. You're not going to want to beat this with a hammer directly. So what you do is, and I'm going to try to do this while holding it. And y'all are going to laugh at me because I somehow misplaced my sledgehammer. But you don't have to hit it hard. Do not bang, do not hit it. Do not try to kill it. You don't have to kill it. So therefore, since I can't find my sledgehammer, I'm using some ingenuity here. Oh, trailer hitch. See how I went through? I hope y'all saw that. Kind of then loosen this up to get more. Not much. I'm gonna try to brace myself so y'all see it. Okay, it should be loose enough to just pull off. But I didn't hit it hard, and this is probably about, hell, I don't know, it feels like about 5 pounds, but just a subtle tap, and it comes right off. But do not hit that directly with the hammer, sledgehammer, because what you'll do, you'll damage these threads, and you will have to, it just make your day a lot harder if it doesn't end your day, as far as having to stop to get them threads fixed, find a whatever. But anyhow, so back to getting this loose. What you're gonna do when you go for this other bolt, you're gonna, and if you tear this old one up right here, this old clip, the new one should, the new one looks like they're gonna come with a new one. So you just squeeze that and push it through. But then this clip here, try to do this one hand, kind of like, well, two fingers in a clothing reference, so y'all should figure that out, but that's about how you have to do it. So anyhow, y'all should be able to get that reference. I'm gonna keep it PG-13, so as always. Alright, so now we've got one more bolt, and it's right here. So where I'm gonna try to go up under it. I hope y'all can see it, but if not, y'all get the idea. Just well, crap. Come on, Josephus, get on there. Okay, here we go. Can't you see it? There we are. That one wasn't as bad as the other. So now you just be careful with this. Just be careful with this one here. You can't damage that one because it'll miss. That's the important one. So just tuck it away somewhere. Yeah, right there. This other one here, you don't have to. The old one to the old ABS on the hub. That don't matter. Unless you want to save it. That's a good idea. clip these old wires as close as you can off the old hubs. And if you ever have one that break, crack, or know somebody that has one, then you've got a spare. And yeah, eventually you'll end up being like the old retired man with all kind of parts that you was gonna find a use for one day, and then you pass on and then leave your kids with all the mess and they don't know what to do with it. But anyhow, that's another story. But anyhow, we're gonna take this loose. I'm gonna bring you back up here. As you can see, it's starting to break away on its own. That's a good sign. Unless it falls on my knee, then it won't fall. Alright, there's your three bolts for the hub bearing and your 2 for the caliper bracket. So this here should just, okay. What I've got going on here is this old clip. You've got to figure out a way, which it ain't hard, it'll be easier for you because you got both your hands. Let's see, this goes through, so you push the caliper in and release. Yeah, so there. See how I do that? Just push it in gently, lift up. Flip it around. And there. That's all. But you will need this bracket, because this bracket goes right back here. It's what holds that ABS wire connection out of the way. Alright, I'm gonna set this down. I'm gonna be right back installing the new one. Okay, here we go. Here's your hub assembly new. Here's for all you people that, yes, it's gonna be made in China, but anyhow. But here's all your numbers if you wanna. That should be, but just take a screenshot of the video, pause it, then take a screenshot of those numbers if you want to order them. I ordered these, and I'm not endorsed, paid, nor supported to advertise. This is just the people. I use a couple of people, depending on who's cheapest, and I'm pretty sure not just cheap quality. You know, I usually never get the rock bottom, you know, the lowest priced one. I'll usually go somewhere in the middle. And but anyhow, I got two of these for about $30-something a piece. Hubs. They were with shipping was like $6, which was very surprising. Sometimes the shipping, you know, eats up all your savings, but in this case it didn't. $6 wasn't a lot to pay for it, just shipping 2 of them. So I was out the door about $72, somewhere around in there. I think there was actually, let's see, anyhow, $6, do the math, so about $32 a piece. But anyhow, plus tax, whatnot. But anyhow, let's see. They come very well packaged. This cardboard tube piece that protects your wiring that's down in here, that's in the back of it. They got all neatly. And we're gonna do this with one hand. I was very impressed the way it was packaged. Put that there. See how your ABS wires neatly up there, and then this goes over like that, but through the pack over the plastic, so it holds the plastic in place at this, just as it's holding this protective thing in place. There you go. But there you go. That's your new hub assembly. It already comes with studs for your lug nuts, so you don't have to buy none of them. Everything is, once you get to this point, it's pretty much bolt on, plug and play, minus all the other stuff you gotta put back together. Well, a few stuff, this ain't a difficult job, so that's why I'm doing the video. I'd have been already done with both sides if it weren't for making the video, but I enjoy helping people save money. And what I'm gonna do, which you're not gonna see me do it, I'm gonna take engine oil, or you can put lithium grease, whatever. You know, there's all kind of opinions on what you can use or what you should use, but what I'm gonna use, just engine oil on these splines here to keep it from seizing up, because it was fairly easy. I couldn't believe how easy these older hub assemblies just slid off just with a slight tap. But let me oil this up, and I'll show you how it slides back on. Well, I think I'll be able to. I just got some motor oil, 10W30 in the cap. Let's see if I can, yeah. You don't need a lot, just pour it on here like that. Don't let it get on your threads down here. Which you might say, well, why don't you want them on the threads? Well, they say it changes the torque values because it actually lubes the threads when this is called for a torque specification of 177 foot-pounds. So okay, we got that lubed up good enough, and we're gonna slide the hub assembly on. Okay, I went ahead and fished the connector through because I didn't want to damage it in any way. So you're gonna want to be as gentle with the connector as possible. I'll try to get all this in perspective for you. Or your perspective, okay. Come a little kind of ways. Alright. What I'm doing Now I'm going to show you how I fished it through. Just get that that half axle joint. Just barely push on it and it'll open up right here. Then you're gonna have to put this on, this bracket, put this bracket back on, and do the same thing. And you're gonna want the bracket here to face out, face in and aft. You don't want it like this, you know, or nothing. You don't want it like that. You gotta have it, and you don't want it flipped around. If your bracket is facing towards the wheel, then you got it on. You gotta flip it. So that's how easy that was. That's out of the way. You slide it up over there. And there you go. It is in. Now all you gotta do now, just take this down and it will pull your axle splines further into the, it'll seat your axle. There. Now you just go back with your bolts. And you may have to do some wiggling to get it, everything realigned, because nothing goes back perfect the first time aligned, so you gotta probably align it. I'm gonna align this and I'll be right back. Alright. Yeah, it took two hands to line it up, because I had to line the hub assembly, the bracket here, the ABS wire bracket. Had to do a juggling act there with two hands, but as you can see, I've got it started by hand. Always start your bolts by hand. No. Alrighty, well these are, I'll go back with the 13mm and just on this wire here, while I was wiggling around trying to get it lined up while I was holding the camera earlier, it had failed. It had shifted and fell down, and it fell up under the axle. So when I tightened up this axle nut here, which is that's why it's loose now, is because I had to loosen it up to bring it forward to get slack to get this back on the top side, because it's gonna go just like that, and the new clip's gonna pop in. But it was wedged up under the CV axle boot. Nothing, it wasn't damaging it, just wouldn't allow it to come to the top where I need it to be. So always be mindful of where your electronic components are, wires, whatnot. So what we got here, I hope it's not a failure to communicate, but what we have here is that's the first bolt. These others I've already, see there, that one peeked through, and then this one peeked through. So all I'm gonna basically be doing here, and you'll see the driver's side later on in this video, but just tighten these down. There is a torque specification, you'll have to look it up, but you've seen it's had, this is a 2002 and had their, look like the original hub assemblies on it. So you see what kind of, didn't take it took some, but not a hell of a lot of force to break those loose. So I'm just gonna go back the way, it's the same amount of strength it took to break them loose, which was about close to all of it. No, I'm just picking. They weren't that tight, but but if you wanna, these here, or this here is going to be 177 foot-pounds, and you can just Google or search whatever search engine you want to use and look up hub assembly mounting bolt torque specs or specifications, and it should come right on up. But anyhow, what I'm going to do here, and you've already seen it, saw me take it off. I'm going to put this, I'm running out of daylight, see, I am out of daylight. So all I'm going to do here, pull this back around after I torque these 3 bolts down, hook this clip up, finished cinching down on that bolt nut, then putting this on, putting the upper and lower caliper bracket bolts back in, tightening them down, and then putting the wheel on, and lowering the jacks. So everything should go in reverse order, as you've already seen, and you'll get a chance to see this twice. So I hope this video helps y'all out. Stay tuned for the driver's side. You have a great day. As you can see, I just removed the wheel bearing. This one isn't terrible, but you can hear it. Still sounds kind of dry in there, but I'm working on a 2002 Chevy Venture. But anyhow, replacing with the new bearing. That's real tight there. This one's not tight, so I'm thinking at high speeds. One of them, possibly the right hand side, is growling, roaring, droning, whatever you want to call it. Well, I'm going ahead and we're just replacing both, because I'm replacing one, might as well replace both. And but anyhow, I didn't have to get into the alignment or anything like that. I didn't have to take these bolts off. I reached in from behind here, 3 bolts, 13mm bolts, and once it's loose, you put the nut back on flush. Once it's loose, this is still on here, and you lightly tap it out. Don't bang it, because then you run risk. But if it's seized up, which luckily this one wasn't, but just tap it out and it'll come right off, come right out of the splines, whatever. So I'm ready to go on with my new one. But as you can see, I also took, instead of taking a brake caliper, bleeding the brakes, bleeding the fluid out, and compressing the calipers, I just simply undone these 2 bolts and took it off, slid it off the lug nuts, slid the rotor off the lug nuts in one unit. Saves time, and now I don't have to bleed the brakes and go through all that. So anyhow, but once I get it all back together, we'll go for a test drive. Okay, I've got this on. Here's my three bolts. You can get them, have access to them from the back. Let's see here. You may not be able to see it, but anyhow, there's one. That's your bottom left. That's this one right here. So they're fairly easy to get to. You'll get to this one, the top one, around this. Right here. Fairly easy to get to. Like I said, 13mm with an extension. And here's your clips. Be careful with them, especially when you're putting this new one back in there. It feels kind of tight. It feels like it almost won't fit. But you press it evenly in the center, and it, firmly press both of them at the same time, and it'll snap right in. But that's your ABS wire. But then your nut here is a 34mm nut. It calls for 177 foot-pounds of torque. So you want to do it by specs. That's 177 foot-pounds of torque, which is equivalent to like 2100 and something odd inch-pounds. But for simplification, 177 foot-pounds is what it calls for. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I'm about to do. How I put this back on in one unit. You see the caliper is still connected, and I simply line up the holes and they go on. Now, if you want to, there's an extra measure I can do. If you can run a lug nut down to hold caliper from not caliper, excuse me, to hold the rotor from flopping. But just all you need is one, and tighten it down. But that'll take just a couple extra minutes to do, but I won't need it. I'm gonna go right here. Here are the two bolts. See the two bolt holes? One right here, and this lines up here. So you can do it easier if you're not holding the camera, but I'm gonna use my knee. Line them bolt holes up using my knee. In theory. Hold on, let's see. We're gonna try to get y'all a good shot. Okay, now we just line that one up. Get the thread started by hand. Don't ever thread them starting with a ratchet. You run risk of cross threading the the bolt, and you don't want to do that. So. And these bolts here are a size 15 for the caliper bolts. The caliper bracket bolts. You don't want to take the caliper off, but you want to take the caliper bracket loose, which in turn will release the rotor, caliper bracket, and the caliper all in one unit. And you just want to be careful with these brake lines. That's why I have two. You saw two bricks. I was suspending them. And if you want the torques on these caliper bracket bolts, you can just Google them. Alright, there you go. We got that one's in, and that one's in. So, and everything's, your rotor's gonna wiggle until you get the tire on, of course. It's going to be loose because the lug nuts and the wheels what hold this in place. So everything good to go.